Okay, so you want to be a youth small group leader. That's great. But what are you supposed to do in a small group? I mean, what are you trying to accomplish? That's why in this video, I want to go over the nuts and bolts, the basics of leading a youth small group. Now, there's a lot of variety to this. I'm just giving you the most basic model as a way to kind of start you as you think about how to lead a small group. Of course, you can adjust things based on the needs of your students, based on your needs as a leader, and the opportunities that you have. But here's 3 things that go into most small group meetings. Let's start with the beginning. In the beginning, it's good to open with an icebreaker. When I talk about an icebreaker, I could mean a couple different things. I could mean like a formal icebreaker, like what's your favorite movie, who's your favorite X-Men, what's your favorite dessert, whatever. Fun things, silly things, stupid things, just to kind of get kids talking. That's what you're trying to do at the beginning. Think about it. The small group format is a little weird at first. We don't normally just sit in a circle and talk about feelings and talk about our thoughts on really important subjects like God in our lives. So kids need to loosen up a little bit. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get students to relax and prepare to share about their lives. So think of an icebreaker. Now, if your group's been together for a while, for a few months or longer, just talk about what's been going on in people's lives that week. Talk about anything new that's happened at school or with friends. You don't want to get too derailed from the main topic of the night, but it's okay to have everyone share a little bit just to kind of get everyone relaxed and ready to talk. At some point, you want to get to the discussion. The discussion is going to revolve around the small group video or the small group video content. Now, some small groups, you're going to show a video, you're going to watch it with the students, and then you're going to discuss it. In other groups, maybe you had your students watch the video beforehand, and so you're going to talk about it and hope they all watched it. And still others, you may not have the ability to show a video, so you're just going to print off the notes, and you're going to talk through the notes, explain it to the students, and then ask them some questions. And at the end of all of our videos, we have those talk about it questions, and those are really the great questions for you to discuss. You don't have to limit your questions to those, but we've really thought about those, and those are great for you to use to lead your students. But here's just a couple things to keep in mind during the discussion phase of the night. Keep the discussion moving. Don't get bogged down into really technical questions or minor questions. Keep things moving. Sometimes what happens is you'll end up just having a long discussion with one kid or 2 kids, and everyone else just kind of sits around and waits around until you're done. So keep the discussion moving. And also, focus on an application point. I think it's really great when students understand how God's Word shapes and changes their lives. So make sure that every student could leave your group and say, because of what I've learned tonight, I'm going to change this in my life. Maybe they're going to change a behavior. Maybe they're going to change the way they think about something. Maybe they're going to change who knows what. But focus on at least one application point for students to walk away with. And finally, that brings us to the close, or prayer time as I like to think of it. I like to end my groups with prayer time. Now, sometimes there's a temptation to just go quickly through prayer time. Maybe you're running late. Maybe it's tough to see how prayer really matters in your small group. Maybe your students don't really care that much about prayer, but prayer time can be a very important time. So here's what you need to do. You need to take prayer requests. Ask students what's going on in their lives. Pray for people who are sick, people who are hurting, and really pay attention to what they talk about. You'll learn a lot about what's going on in the life of the student, what's going on in their family, if you listen to their prayer requests. Now, don't force people to share or to pray. Don't put people on the spot, especially at the beginning, especially the first few times your group meets, or even in the first weeks that your group is meeting. Don't force people to participate in this part of the night. But there might come a point where you could say, hey, I'd love to hear if you have any prayer requests, or you could even encourage a student to pray out loud. But it can be a really big deal for someone when they pray out loud for the first time, so be very sensitive about that. And then lastly, after you've prayed and you've said goodbye, I want you to do something. I want you to pray for the requests one other time during the week. Now, I don't expect you to pray for them every day, but at least once a week, take that prayer request list out, open it up on your phone, however you've kept it, and pray for these requests, pray for these students, and let them know that you pray for them throughout the week, and see the kind of difference that it makes in your attitude about your small group, and even see the difference that it makes in your relationship with the students. So that's it. That's the basics of leading a small group. Now, of course, there's more that you can add into leading your small group. There's more things to think about. There's more things to learn. But if you get these basics down, you're well on the way to having a successful group. So now go ahead and pause the video and think about these questions if you're watching this video by yourself, or if you're watching it with others, discuss these questions and share about your small group experiences.